All right, there we go. Okay, so hi guys. As you know, I'm Sarah, and I'm here to talk to you about my internship experience. So, starting off, some background. I had a nanny when I was little, and she taught me how to and then I eventually started taking classes at Austin School of Fashion Design, and then
Sarah,
at Stitch Lab.
Sarah, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. Now that I made you the host, it stopped the recording. And so do you mind just going to the bottom of the page and hitting record?
Sure. It says it's still recording.
Oh, it does? That's perfect. Sorry to interrupt.
And hey, Sarah, go slow. There's going to be a little bit of a drag on your CPU, so just go slow so your computer stays caught up.
Okay,
Okay.
cool. I think it went ahead to the next one. Sorry, things are now a bit messed up. Here, let me just real quick. Okay. This. So after I took school classes at Austin School of Fashion Design, I went into classes at Stitch Lab with former Griffin fashion teacher Tina Sparkles. And then when I was 9, my family and I went to Chicago for a summer vacation, and we went to the Chicago Art Institute Museum. And I remember seeing Van Gogh's bedroom from across the room and like gasping and running to it. And from that moment on, I knew that I wanted to go to art school. So all that being said, fashion and art have always been constants in my life. I've always been a creative person and internship. So here are some examples of recent work. The jumpsuit is from the first semester of junior year. The Halloween costume is from this year. And then the black gown is from sophomore year, and the other gown is from a sailboat sale, as some of you might remember, and that's from the last semester of junior year. So what even is an internship? It's free and for a designated amount of time, and most of the time they're not paid. And if you do it for your senior year, it will definitely not be paid. And what you do at your internship is determined by your boss specifically. So they'll kind of set you up. Most of the time they're not full-time. If you do one as a senior, it will definitely not be full-time because you have school. And hopefully it's in a field that you're interested in, like mine was. Most people's are. So there's that. Sorry, I think there's a little lag. There it is. Okay, so my internship specifically was at UT for their College of Natural Sciences in their textiles and apparel program. And I worked directly for Gail Chovan, who is an absolute boss. She has a master's in French literature and in fashion design. She owned her own atelier called Black Male Boutique, which is on South Congress. And she still continues to make personal work for local gallery showings. And yeah, she's actually working on one right now for a gallery in Kerrville. And she's also, of course, a professor at UT for their fashion program. So I went in once a week, every Wednesday for about 2 hours after lunch, and then I came back to school for either volleyball practice or art lab. And while I was there, I made posters for a broad trip that Gail takes students on. I made a window display for that same trip. I organized Gail's office and studio sewing spaces, but mostly I made the actual garments that Gail was getting ready for her gallery showings. And what that entailed was I drafted the patterns. So I drew like the outlines of the clothes for those who don't do fashion. And then I tested those patterns to make sure that they made what they were actually supposed to make. And then I made the actual garments with the like nice, pretty fabric. And I definitely did not do that alone. I showed Gail every step of the way. And a lot of the time that's really helpful because she'd be tweaking the design as we went. So I would like sew in some pleats and she'd be like, actually, I want 2 instead of 3. And then I'd change them and then be good. So here are some examples of me there working. I spent a lot of time at this drafting table. This is the garment that I worked on for the most of the time. It's black organza, it was really nice. There's me hanging out with some dress forms. So how did I actually do this? I had seen other people do internships for their senior projects. And then when Lawrence mentioned that I could do an internship for my senior project in the fall, I thought, why not? So I asked some teachers and I asked family friends who are in the art community if they knew anybody that I could be an intern for. And I ended up contacting 4 people. And then I wrote some very, very detailed emails, basically begging people to let me be their intern. I included examples of my work, some of which you have seen in this presentation, and my schedule. And in the end, my schedule coincided with 2 people. But then when I looked at it, I realized that the commute time would be really large to get to one of them. And I wouldn't have much time to actually get work done. So I decided to just work with Gail for this. And a huge part of this process, and if you take anything away from this presentation, please let it be this, is self-advocacy. I had help every step of the way from teachers and my parents, and I am super grateful for all of that, but none of this would have happened if I hadn't actually done it. To have going into this situation is taking on that responsibility and speaking up for yourself. And yeah, that's all I would say on that, is that that's maybe the most important part of any senior project that you'll take on, is self-advocacy. So, I think the lag is still here. There it is. Okay, so why would you do this at all? It sounds like a lot of work, right? Well, it's also an incredible learning experience. I got to work with an extremely accomplished professional in the field that I want to go into. I got to learn new skills from her and practice old ones. And I got to experience critique from a reputable source, a new reputable source, which, as anybody in any creative field will know, that's super valuable to get another opinion on your work and your ability. I also gained some exclusive insight from Gail. She knew me and got to know me through talking to me at the internship. And she also knows people at other colleges and within UT and could offer me some really good and personalized advice with college decisions. And I also got to see what students were doing at UT. I was thinking about going to UT for this fashion program, and seeing what the student life was like and talking to professors there was incredible and great firsthand experience, because a lot of the time if you ask them questions, they'll give you a lot more candid and less fluffy responses than an admissions rep might give you. So that was great, which also connects to my next point, which is connection. You can talk to so many people when you get out in the world, and I got to know so many people while I was there. Gail was one of my very favorite people now. I text her to ask for help on projects that I'm doing, and just to stay in touch throughout quarantine. She's one of the very first people that I told when I decided to go to Pratt instead of UT. And I know that I could then access because I know her now. And also just throughout your own talking to people, I got to know a bunch of students there, and I actually ended up helping a lot of them with their personal projects and their class projects, because I would talk to them and I would talk to Gail and she would assign me to help them. So it was really great, and it's a good way to broaden your network. And lastly, on reasons why to do this one is huge. You get to leave campus, which would be for your senior project. And senioritis is a real thing for most people. It sets in about junior year, which is fine. that just means that Griffin did a great job preparing you to take the next steps in life and you're ready for that freedom. I definitely was. So leaving campus was really great because you get to tap into some of that freedom that you're looking forward to, even if it's once a week for 2 hours. It really makes a difference. And for me, it helped me be more present at my life while I was on campus and be a better part of the Griffin community because I had another outlet to, you know, express myself and tap into some of the freedom that I wanted. And it also, like I was saying, with self-advocacy gets you more used to the responsibility and environment that you would be in at a college campus, to look out for yourself and get what you want. And that was definitely something that I gained from this experience. So suggestions. First of all, do this. I cannot express to you how much I suggest to any of y'all to do this. It's a lot of fun, especially if you like where you're working and if you're interested in it. It looks great on your resumes and you gain a lot of knowledge and experience. And you can learn more about what you want to do in life or other possibilities that you might pursue. If you are going to do this, consider your schedule and don't overdo this though. I almost signed myself up for 2 internships, which would not have been smart. I would have had 0 study halls. I would have been super stressed, so don't do that. Just take a deep breath and consider yourself. And also, if you are going to do this, you telling Lawrence that you need sequential study halls, it'll give you a bigger block to go do things, and that just makes your life so much easier. And once you get to your internship, be bold, be talkative, make connections, expand your social network. And I got to talk to other professors and learn from them and designers who were visiting the campus, and it was really great to get to know people in the fields that I want to go into. And if you are going to do this, don't just do a random internship. Find something that you're interested in. Further your education in it. Even if you don't know that this is your life passion and that's what you're going to do for the rest of your life, you probably don't. I don't know that. And I love fashion. I've always loved fashion. But this is a great way to like test out the waters before you go spending money somewhere and living 4 years, like pursuing this major. This is a good like trial run. And for me, I'm going to Pratt Institute next year. I'm going to major in fashion design and I hope to minor in sustainability. And this internship showed me where I was skill-wise in relation to other people in similar programs. And it helped me improve those skills and also improve my confidence when talking to people like and designers who previously had seemed really scary to me, but are actually just people. And honestly, just being on a college campus, it's a whole different vibe, and there's a fun, and going there once a week definitely helped me acclimate to it. And so once again, I highly suggest that all of y'all do an internship. It was one of the best experiences I had at Griffin, and you have this incredible opportunity, so I would say use it. So that being said, any questions about internships or fashion in general? I can answer. Here, I can stop sharing. There you go.
Yay.
Thank
Awesome.
you, Lauren.
Awesome.
Go ahead, girl.
Thanks, Akina. Yeah, Caroline.
All right. So when you were there for those 2 hours, like give us an example of like one day, what did you do in those 2 hours? What are some of the things you might have done?
Well, normally I would get there and try to find parking. Anybody who's tried to park on UT campus knows that that is a time-consuming endeavor. And often I found a parking lot that was always normally good, but sometimes they'd be like, we're randomly closing today, so have fun with that. But once that was accomplished, I would go in I would walk to Mary Gearing Hall. I got to know the security guard who works the street there pretty good. And then I would walk up to Gail's office. Fun tip, normally the stairs are faster than the elevators in that building because they're really old. So just know that for colleges. And normally Gail would be like finishing her lunch or watching Schitt's Creek while she did a presentation or grading papers. So we'd like chat for a while. She'd be like, did you see this in the news? Did you see so-and-so's new collection? It's awful or it's great. So we'd talk and then she'd be like, all right, cool, let's go to the studio. And then I would pull out the designs that I've been working on last week and be like, all right, Gail, this is what I was gonna do. That's the step that I'm at. I'm gonna sew all of these ruffles or cut out all these pattern pieces. And she'd be like, great, check in with you in an hour and a half. And then I'd get to work. And normally she'd either like stay and work on stuff with me or help out other students, or she'd need to like go to a meeting or something. So she'd like pop in and out and I would just work. And then along the way I'd be like, okay, Gail, how's this look? And she'd be like, change this, change that. And then it's good. And yeah. Yeah, Adam?
I wondered if could you just talk for a minute about your interest in sustainability and just the connection between sustainability as an ethic and fashion design and your interest there?
Yeah, totally. Okay, so sustainability is really important to me because I like living on Earth. And so that'd be great to continue doing that. But I think it really roots to honestly my like primary school, Parkside Community School. It's a little hippie, like what Montessori, there it is, Montessori school in South Austin, and it's a bunch of little hippie babies running around and they're like, love the earth. So that's basically my childhood, and now I love the earth. And I also love fashion and art, and fashion is one of the least sustainable industries ever. It kind of sucks, and that's not so great for me because I like both of those things. And so I would want to work to learn how to make fashion a more sustainable industry. There's definitely ways, and a lot of times they're definitely better for other industries that fashion works with, like the cotton industry. Hemp is better than cotton, that's all I'm gonna say on that. But yeah, I just want to be able to continue helping a community that I really like, the fashion community, and I want to be able to help it grow and remain vibrant and lively, and also not kill the environment. So yeah. Maya?
How was like balancing your internship with like your other classes? Because I know you took like a course load that was pretty tough. So like how was balancing those two things?
Yeah, good question. It was honestly pretty good. Like normally it was interesting because I would like be thinking about the week and being like, oh my gosh, like so much is happening, stuff is going on, volleyball, art, blah, 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 blah. I'm so stressed, like I don't even want to go to the internship this week, like I can't do it. But then I would get there and be like, oh, thank God I came here. Like, whew, I needed this break. It's great to just like sit down and sew in a studio. So for me, it provided kind of a relief from the busy like grind that I would get into at Griffin, because it forced me to like take a step back and be like, okay, you're fine, you got it, you can handle this. And I never had like extra work to do at home for my internship, so it was really just that like 2 hours a week time commitment. And I only missed like one study hall for that, so I still had another study hall because I didn't have a language this year, which is really helpful because I maxed out last year. Not that I wouldn't wanted to have taken Spanish, but yeah, it was pretty manageable for me. But I would just say that if you are thinking of doing this, I would consider your schedule and make sure that you do have time to do things at school. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Sarah. And I think probably with timing, we should pass the torch to Craig. Is that right? Craig's next. So Sarah, what's that is going to mean since